Hello there you guys, welcome to one of my videos. Man United want a new right back in the summer to provide competition for Bissaka. Bissaka has been our number one choice since we got him from Crystal Palace back in 2019. We got Bissaka in a deal worth £50 million. Bissaka has done well in some games this season where he showed good attacking intent. He's got into good positions. His crossing's been good in some games, and defensively he's been very, very good. I think he's the foreseeable future for Manchester United. But he's the only recognised right back because we've obviously got Diego Dalot out on loan at AC Milan. Axel Tuanzebe can play as a right back, but he doesn't get in R11. You've also got Brandon Williams that can play as a right back, but he's another player that doesn't get in the team. And obviously, we let Young go, didn't we? A few years ago, he was a right back, and we also let Antonio Valencia go. Now, I want to delve into some news on Rafael Varane. So, according to the Spanish outlet AS, Rafael Varane wants to come to the Premier League in the summer. So, reflecting on that, we've been given a boost in our pursuit of Rafael Varane. Now, the AS said a few weeks ago that talks over extending Rafael Varane's deal have not settled. Back in 2018, Woodward was prepared to sanction a £100 million move for Rafael Varane. A few weeks ago, it said Rafael Varane is valued at around £61 million. OK Dairo actually mentioned that Real Madrid had reduced their asking price for Rafael Varane to £43 million. I would certainly take him at Manchester United because I think he'd go very well alongside Harry Maguire in our back line. They would complement each other. Rafael Varane is a world-class centre-half and he's highly experienced. He's 27 years of age. He hasn't played in the Premier League, but if he comes to the Premier League, I'm kind of sure he will exceed expectations and he'll replicate what he's done at Real Madrid. He's been a long-serving player at Real Madrid. He's been with them 10 years. He's made over 300 appearances. He's won 18 major honours. Real Madrid paid €10 million for him from Lens back in 2011. He's under contract with Real Madrid until 2022. A centre-back is a priority for Man United. Jules Koundé from Sevilla, he's been another centre-half on our agenda, but the last time I read up regarding that, it said we was not willing to meet his £68 million release clause, and Jules Koundé's performances this season for Sevilla have been very, very good. Sevilla paid £22 million for him from Bordeaux in the summer of 2019. Said earlier on this season we was prepared to pay around £61 million for him, and the Spanish outlet La Razón said we were considered as the favourites to sign Jules Koundé. Sergio Ramos, he's been another centre-half on our agenda. Kalidou Koulibaly, he's been another centre-half on our agenda. So there you go. I'm expecting us to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window. This year's summer transfer window is the biggest in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's managerial career. Not so long ago, Solskjaer sent a transfer warning to Man United fans, saying we won't be very active in the summer transfer window due to the coronavirus pandemic. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer gave us an update on our transfer plans ahead of the summer transfer window. He said he's only interested in bringing in players that will be a perfect fit for the club. I now think Solskjaer's going to get the backing he deserves, because we recently appointed our first ever director of footballing. It's John Murtough, who we've appointed in as our new director of football. And John Murtough knows the culture of the club because he's been at Man United for 7 years. And obviously, Darren Fletcher is the technical director. I'm glad we've got a director of football in, because I did say it's one of the structural changes that we need at the club. And we was in for a director of football for a long time. Like I updated you yesterday, John Murtough has 3 transfer priorities after his appointment. But so far, like I've said to you, Solskjaer has not been backed enough in the transfer windows he has endured. Solskjaer's endured 4 transfer windows so far as permanent Man United manager. He has made some good signings. He's spent around 260 million so far, but he hasn't got all the players that he wanted to recommend in. So in that aspect, the blame stems from the board. The board has been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years. Woodward recently did a statement. He said the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, the board are backing him. Woodward did say towards the end of last year that he will back Solskjaer with a long-term plan centred around summer transfer windows, and he's come out quite a few times to show his support for Solskjaer. Even when we was enjoying them really, really bad periods, Woodward came out and assured that Solskjaer's job was safe. Like I've said, our board have got a really soft stance on Ole, with him being a club legend. Disregarding being a club legend, they'd be a lot more ruthless on him. You can probably say if Solskjaer wasn't a club legend, that he probably wouldn't have been Manchester United manager now. We're also going to offload players in the summer transfer window. Obviously, if we do, we'll generate money, and that'll help us with our rebuilding process. Yeah, there's a good chance that we could sell David De Gea in the summer, because recent narratives said we are willing to listen to offers for De Gea. I think we value him at around £50 million. Now, the Sun recently said that De Gea was wanted by PSG because Pochettino is looking for a number 1 to replace Keylor Navas. De Gea has got 2 years left on his contract at Man United, and he's on £375,000 a week. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer warned De Gea that his number 1 jersey is under threat. De Gea is not available at the moment due to personal reasons. I think there's a good chance De Gea will go back to Spain. Main explanations is because he began his footballing career in Spain. He was born in Spain. his relatives are from Spain and his girlfriend's from Spain, and back in 2015 he was very close to joining Real Madrid, but due to a fax machine the deal never materialised. De Gea has been a long servant at the club. This is his 10th season at Manchester United. A few years ago he was regarded as the best goalkeeper in the world, but in the last couple of years he's made calamitous mistakes, and reflecting on that, he's become a liability. A few years ago, I'd have said De Gea was worth around £100 million. It says Man United have identified 3 replacements for De Gea, and that is Donnarumma from AC Milan. I think we've been talking with his agent Mino Raiola. We're looking at Mike Maignan from Lille, and we're also looking at Jan Black from Atletico Madrid. He has a £103 million release clause in his Atletico Madrid contract. But I don't think we need to buy a goalkeeper. We sell De Gea, we can put Dean Henderson as number 1. Like I said to you, Solskjaer has been facing a goalkeeping dilemma. Dean Henderson, I've been very, very impressed with him in the games he's played in this season. And I think he's reliable enough now to become our number 1 because he has got that experience behind him. Don't forget he enjoyed 2 successful loans with Sheffield United. And Solskjaer admitted earlier on this season it's becoming more and more difficult to leave Dean Henderson out of the side. Earlier on this season, there was narratives coming out saying that Dean Henderson had threatened to quit the club if he's not assured the number 1 role. And if he will quit the club if he's not assured the number 1 role. And we revealed our asking price and it was £40 million. If we was to let Dean Henderson go, I don't think we'd let him go permanently. We'd let him go out on loan. Now, Phil Jones, I'm also expecting him to leave this year because Phil Jones doesn't get in our team. I'm surprised he didn't leave in January, but Solskjaer said that Phil Jones is going to be given a second chance. Phil Jones has been out of injury for over a year. This is his 10th season at Man United. He's been a long servant. Jones is only the outfield player that's still here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. Should we sell Lindelof in the summer? I don't think Lindelof's good enough to represent Man United, and Lindelof and Maguire don't complement each other in our back line. But to Lindelof's credit, he put a good performance out against Man City, but them performances have got to persist for me to change my perception on Lindelof. Lindelof has been at the club now a few years. We got him in a deal worth £31 million from Benfica. I certainly prefer Eric Bailly to Victor Lindelof. Now, the Nemanja Matic, we could also sell him in the summer because Matic isn't one of our first choice midfielders, but he still gets his chances and he can perform well. But as you all know, I've always had my strong reservations about Matic because he's always been a static player, plus he's ageing up now. Been at the club almost 4 years. We got Matic in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Paul Pogba, do you think there's still a chance he could leave Man United in the summer transfer window? Like I said, one of John Murtough's priorities is addressing Paul Pogba's future. Paul Pogba has had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. PSG have been in for him, and his former club Juventus have been in for him. He did enjoy 4 very good years with Juventus before he rejoined Man United. He said a few weeks ago we revealed our asking price for Pogba, and it was £100 million. It said the other week that Paul Pogba is open to staying at Man United. after making a transfer U-turn, and he's willing to discuss a new contract. Earlier on this season, Solskjaer suggested Paul Pogba could sign a new contract, and Solskjaer revealed that he's happy at the club because we held talks with him regarding his future. Obviously, Paul Pogba is not available at the moment because he is out with a thigh injury. Solskjaer, not so long ago, set a new Paul Pogba return date. He's hopeful that he will be back before the March international break. But he has been a big miss because we do lack creativity in that midfield without him. And we're too defensive. You know, the last game Paul Pogba played was a 3-3 draw with Everton. Earlier on this season, he had an ankle injury and he was out for the vast majority of last season with an ankle injury. Mini Oriola said earlier on this season that he's got no intentions of destabilising his client's season at Man United, and he made an admission saying that he's working quietly on Paul Pogba's transfer. And he made the announcement back in December regarding Paul Pogba. And Solskjaer was obviously furious with Mini Oriola's announcement because it was just before the game against RB Leipzig in the Champions League. But yeah, Mini Oriola's been criticised quite a lot of times and he doesn't have a good relationship with Man United. Earlier on this season, we triggered that 1-year extension on Pogba's contract, so he's under contract with the club until June 2022. But yeah, if we sell Paul Pogba in the summer, I think we can get from between 60 to 70 million pounds. You know, we won't get the 89 million pounds that we paid for him. He is our most expensive signing at the moment. Now, Edison Cavani, you know the news on him. Solskjaer's actually come out and said that Edison Cavani's future has not been decided. Edison Cavani's father has come out and said that Edison Cavani is unhappy at the club and he's not comfortable in England and he wants to leave. But Cavani's come out and said he's proud to wear the Man United shirt. Reports in Argentina recently said that Cavani has decided to leave Man United in the summer after just a season, and he will reject a contract extension, and apparently said he wants to join Boca Juniors on a 3-year contract and he's willing to take a pay cut. Earlier on this season, it actually said Cavani wanted to stay at Man United beyond this season, and Solskjaer said that Edison Cavani was set for contract extension talks. To Cavani's credit, he has made a fantastic impact since he's come in. You know, he's scored goals, he can create chances, his hold-up play is good, and his movement in and out of the box is good. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a 1-year contract with Man United with an option of a 2nd year. Cavani's missed 5 of our last 6 games with injury, and he's not going to be involved in tonight's game against AC Milan. Juan Mata, I think there's a good chance that he'll leave in the summer. Juan Mata's current contract expires in the summer. There is an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Juan Mata doesn't get in our team, but in the games he's been involved in, he's done well. Solskjaer said prior to the game against Sociedad he's not surprised that Juan Mata's linked to a move away from the club, and apparently it said 3 Italian clubs are in for him. Earlier on this season, he rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. Mata's had a good career at Man United. He's been at the club over 6 years. You know, we got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2014. And a lot of United fans, you know, have been saying we should sell Anthony Martial in the summer, and I've been saying the exact same thing. But to Martial's credit, he put a very, very good performance out against City. So if them performances can persist, I'll change my perception on Martial and say, no, don't sell him in the summer. Keep him potentially past the summer. Solskjaer's been impressed with Martial's work rate and he's actually backed him to rediscover his form. Now, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is set to stay at Manchester United. I think Man United are set to hand Solskjaer a new 3-year contract. Does he deserve a new contract? Probably does, reflecting on the progress he's made in the last year or so. Earlier on this season, it actually said Solskjaer's future was in doubt because he admitted that nobody had spoke to him over a new contract. But he said we'll wait until the end of the season to begin negotiations with Solskjaer regarding a new contract. Solskjaer's into the final 18 months of his current contract. We recently had a very, very good win against Man City. Beating them 2-0. Very good result. Wasn't only a good result though, it was a very good performance by Manchester United. We ended Man City's 21 match winning run and we are 22 unbeaten away from home in the Premier League. And I'm surprised the way Solskjaer approached that game because he approached it very, very good, very, very well. He showed a lot of tactical flexibility. And I seldom say that when it comes to the big games, I do. But Solskjaer admitted after that game against City that we are still too far behind City to be in, the title race. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is a long-term manager for Man United. I hope I'm proven wrong. But I think Ole does deserve at least another season at the football club. Obviously, Solskjaer has got to win a trophy at Man United to avoid the sack. If he doesn't win a trophy this season, I don't think he'll be sacked. I think if he doesn't win a trophy next season, if he doesn't win one this season, then he'll possibly be sacked. But Solskjaer's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager. And we haven't won a trophy since 2017, and that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. A club of our stature, need to be winning trophies. The Europa League is a chance of a trophy and the FA Cup is a chance of a trophy. It would have been nice to win the Premier League this season. And obviously at one point we was in the title race. At one point we was top of the Premier League. But then obviously there was a period where we dropped far too many points. I don't think we'll win a title under Solskjaer, if I'm going to be honest with you. We haven't won the Premier League title since 2013, so we haven't won it now for like 8 years. But we have enjoyed good periods under Solskjaer where we've actually seen consistency. There's been some games in them good periods where he's got the best out of the team. Solskjaer's improved certain players. But we've also enjoyed very, very bad periods under him. We was poor at the first part of this season. We was poor at the first part of last season. We enjoyed our worst start to a Premier League season for 30 years. And you could turn and say he was lucky not to be sacked when we had them bad periods. I've told you my two big concerns about Ole. That's his decision making. Because in a lot of the games he's managed at Man United, he's been too naive. But there's been some games where he's showed tactical flexibility, but he's got to do that persistently. And then my other concern about him, he hasn't got a proven pedigree as a manager. But reflecting now on he's been at Man United, he has gained some managerial experience. Before he was with us, he was at Molde. He won a few Norwegian titles at Molde, but they're not a big club. And before he was at Molde, he was at Cardiff, and his record at Cardiff was absolutely disastrous. He only enjoyed a short tenure with Cardiff. All he did manage the Man United reserve team for a couple of years, so he watched, some of this team grow and develop. This is Ollie's second full season at Man United, and I said, didn't I, if we can finish second and we can win a trophy, that'll represent a good season for Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and then that'll give us something to build on going on into next season. Next season will be Solskjaer's third full season at the club. But we've got to credit Solskjaer in quite a few aspects. We're second in the league. We've got a very, very good away record in the Premier League. We're in the FA Cup quarter-finals. Will be a tough game against Leicester. We're in the Europa League last 16. Got us to the EFL Cup semis this season. Lost to City. Did well last season in his first full season. He's got rid of a lot of the deadwood as well since he got recommended in. And at one point he got us top of the Premier League. A lot of United fans did say we give him the job too soon, but we give him the job permanently 2 years ago, reflecting on what he did when he was the interim manager, because he won 14 games out of 19 in all competitions. We appointed Solskjaer in December 2018 to replace Jose Mourinho. He is our fourth permanent manager since Ferguson. We sacked 3 managers since Ferguson. That was David Moyes, Louis van Gaal and Jose Mourinho. And we're not even really known as a sacking football club. Yeah, mistakes have been made in the last 7.5, 8 years. That's the main explanation why we haven't been as consistent as we would have liked to have been. And our recruitment policy's been poor for a while, and we've overpaid for players and stuff like that. But I think our recruitment will be good in the summer. Now we've got a new director of football in. Top 4 is our aim in the Premier League this season, and I can almost assure now we will finish in the top 4. Obviously, we need Champions League football to attract players to the highest level. But yeah, a big game this evening against AC Milan. It's going to be the first time we'll be playing them in 11 years. We've played AC Milan on 10 occasions. There's been 5 wins apiece. AC Milan's last win at Old Trafford was back in 2005. I've already given you my preview for the game. I give you my starting 11 prediction, how I think we could line up, and I give you my reaction to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's press conference yesterday. Obviously, we've got a few players out. Marcus Rashford is a doubt because Rashford sustained an ankle injury in our 2-0 win against Man City. He had the scans on his ankle. Turned out it wasn't severe as we first thought. And there's no ligament damage on his ankle. It's just bruised and swollen. Edison Cavani's not going to be available for tonight. Donny van der Beek's got a muscular problem. Phil Jones is still out. Juan Mata's still out. Paul Pogba is obviously still out. And De Gea is still out due to personal reasons. But AC Milan are no pushovers. They are the pretty good team. They are sitting second in Serie A. Their current manager is Stefano Pioli. He's been AC Milan manager since October 2019. Don't forget AC Milan have got Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Stefano Pioli is hopeful that he'll be involved this evening because Ibrahimovic has been out with injury for Milan. It'll be good to see him reunite with Man United. They've got Ben Acer of AC Milan. He's been out with injury. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, they've also got him. He's been out with injury. Rebic, he's a good player. He's been out of injury as well. Theo Hernandez, he recently sustained an injury. I think Diego Dalot can play against us. Dalot is on loan at AC Milan from us. They've got a very, very good goalkeeper as well in Donnarumma. Yes, it is at Old Trafford this evening. The second leg at the San Siro is on the 18th of March. And our next league game is West Ham. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always, and take care. God bless. See you all again very, very soon.